We convinced one professional comic to stay here from away, didn't we? Huh? And guess what? He's next. He's next. But before we bring him out, I want to thank him very much because he's the one that made the connection that brought this show here. So I'm very thankful. Let's give him a round of applause. Of course, you know who I'm talking about. Back in April, he sold out Harbor Station and beat Jerry Seinfeld's record for tickets sold at the venue. He also just released a movie about his life as a struggling stand-up comedian and released a documentary about how awesome it is here in St. John called City on Fire. You know who I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. James Mullinger.
I love you too! Genuinely nice to be here. Yes, 2 years ago I left my life in London, England, and I moved here to New Brunswick. You're welcome! I moved here by choice, I should say, by choice. Because people always say to me, people from here say, why? Why did you move here? As if I'm in witness protection or something. I moved here because I honestly believe there is nowhere better in the world to bring up a family than New Brunswick. It's the friendliest place in the world. It's the nicest place in the world. And most importantly, my wife's whole family's here, which means free childcare on tap. Cha-ching! I've become something a scholar of St. John. I love facts about St. John, like lots you won't know, like it's actually officially the sunniest city in all of Canada in fall. Nobody knows that, right? It's true. If that was Vancouver, they'd be banging on about it all day long. And we're like, no, we mustn't show off. We must keep it to ourselves. Another fact, if you knew this, that the first paved street in all of Canada was actually here in St. John. Do you know that? No. Prince William Street was the first paved street in all of Canada. Of course, it hasn't been bloody paved since. But still, small mercies. I do love living here. Right now, New Brunswick seems to be the hottest place in Canada. Everyone wants to be here. All my friends in England, they see all my pictures on Facebook about how great life is, and they go, oh my God, James, Brexit's a nightmare. What do we have to do to move to New Brunswick? And all my friends in America are going, oh my God, there's a moron running the country. What do we have to do to move to New Brunswick? And I'm like, hold on a minute. The reason New Brunswick is so awesome is because it's just us. The last thing we need is thousands of Brits and Americans coming in and ruining what we've got going on. Now, I don't normally agree with President Trump's policies, but I have to say there's one I agree with. We're going to have to build a bloody wall around New Brunswick and make the Brits and the Americans pay for it. I do genuinely love gigging in St. John. I've gigged all over Canada. I do lots in New Brunswick. I did a show a couple of weeks ago actually in Sussex. Lovely place. I love Sussex actually. It was at the Sussex High School and someone said to me, they said, oh, it's sold out, James, it's sold out. I walked out on stage. There was no one there. I was mortified. And then 5 minutes into the gig, I realised it was sold out. They were just all wearing bloody camo. I've had to get used to lots of changes here though, because it's quite different living in New Brunswick to living in central London. There's little changes. Like, I'll give you an example. In England, if you went to someone's house for dinner and they said, would you like a glass of wine? And you said, ooh, I'd love a glass of wine, thanks very much. Do you know what they would do? They would leave the room and they would come back with a glass of wine. No caveats, no buts. Here in New Brunswick, a whole different beast, isn't it? You go to someone's house for dinner and they say, would you like a glass of wine? And you say, oh, I'd love a glass of wine, thanks very much. There's a sentence they will say that will make your heart drop. And that sentence is, I made it myself. What's the deal with the homemade wine? Every week I'm having to say, listen, Auntie Brenda, I don't want any of your just add watered poison Kool-Aid moonshine, thanks very much. aren't they? They're all so proud of it. They're like, oh, you're going to love it, you're going to love it. Because if it call me old-fashioned, I like wine-flavoured wine. Right? And I go to my aunt's house and she's like, oh, you're going to love it, you've got to try it, He's going to love it. It's a special flavour, it's pear and pubic hair flavour. Because I do this joke, I've drunk more homemade wine than all of you put together. Because every house I go to, people go, I heard your joke about the homemade wine, you've got to try my homemade wine. Well, the oddest response I actually had to that joke was at a very glamorous place called Port Hawkesbury. Makes Sussex look like downtown New York. I come out of the gig, this woman comes up to me and she goes, oi, you, got a bone to pick with you. She goes, I heard your joke about the homemade wine, but joke's on you, sonny Jim. I said, oh, why is that then? She goes, because actually now we have shops you can go to and they make the wine for you. I said, oh yes, I think I've heard of that. It's called the bloody liquor store. There's something I've had to get used to here that I'll never get my head around. It's definitely a matter of thing. It's the way you guys give directions. It is unlike anywhere else in the world. I was in England a few weeks ago, lost, and I asked someone for directions, and they said, oh, you see the church there? Turn left at the church, turn right at the post office, then you arrive at the pub. Thanks very much. Not like that here, is it? Oh no, everything's based not on what's there now, but based on things that used to be there. I am frequently told by people in the streets, they come up to me and they say, oh, you live in the Seeley's house. The Seeleys lived there 25 years ago. I'm pretty bloody sure I live in the Mullinger's house. It's not like they just moved out. About 6 people have lived there since. There is genuinely an ad right now on local radio here, and I've no idea what the business is because they don't really say. I've no idea where it is because they don't say. All they say in the ad is they're located where Downey Ford used to be. No address, no phone number, where Downey Ford used to be. Now, the insane thing is all of you know exactly where I'm talking about. That's why I live in New Brunswick. I'll give you an example. This is a true story. I was at a very glamorous mall a few weeks ago called Lancaster Mall. Living the dream. And I was trying to find the way to B&N floor, and I went up to a very intelligent-looking lady, looked like she'd lived here for a long time. I said, excuse me, do you know the way to B&N flooring? And she said, yes, I do. I said, wonderful, wonderful. I thought, I'm in safe hands here. And she says, okay, she goes, do you know where Zeller's used to be? I said, no, I've absolutely no idea where Zeller's used to be. Do I sound like I'm from here? Well, I'm a historical expert on closed businesses. Now, it would make sense for her to say where Zeller's used to be if we're talking about an empty building with a Zeller's sign swinging off it, right? But no. The building in question was actually right in front of us, the sign was in the periphery of her vision, and it's quite a well-known established chain called Walmart. She's staring at the Walmart sign, but it's still where Zeller's used to be. Now, I was doing that joke a couple of weeks ago in St. John. Someone shouted out, I said that, and this person who shouted out, oh, she obviously wasn't a true New Brunswicker then. I said, why is that then? And she said, because if she was, she would have said, it's where Kmart used to be. This is the friendliest place in the world. I know it's a cliche to say it, but it really is. I first visited here with my then girlfriend, now wife, about 17 years ago. It was the year 2000 we came here. We'd been dating a few months in London, and she said, why don't you come and visit my family in Canada? And I said, great. She goes, well, we'll go for Christmas. She said, I'll go home first, warm them what you're like. And you come a few days later. I live in St. John, I'll see you there. And I thought, I've got to make a good impression. I've got good plans for this relationship, want to spend many years together. I've got to make a good impression. So I arrived at the airport and I said, I'm here. And she said, I can't see you, and it's a pretty bloody small airport. I was in St. John's. I know! Why are there two places with almost identical names? To keep English people out, clearly. So I said to her, well, listen, I don't want your parents thinking I'm a moron, so wait there. I'll just take the first direct flight. Of course there wouldn't be a direct flight, no. So I finally arrived, and her parents, unsurprisingly, think I'm a moron. So I am desperate to make a good impression. So we go out, and I had no idea, no one briefed me on the friendliness of this beautiful province, okay? Now I'm from South London, which is not a friendly place. In South London pubs, there's always guys looking for a fight. If you go into the bar, there's always a guy standing there, aggressive, standing there. You're looking at my bird, did you spill my pint? Do you want to fight? Terrifying. I assumed that's what it was like here. So we go to this restaurant. Now I don't mind telling you this because I feel like we're bonding. I accidentally got very drunk. Because, you know, it was lunchtime. And I'm in there, and I thought, I'm not going to get in a fight like I would in London, so what I'll do is I'll keep my eyes to the ground, keep myself to myself, never make eye contact. That's the trick in London. If you don't make eye contact, no one can start on you. So I'm walking along, and I go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, eyes to the ground, don't want to get in any bother. Her parents think I'm a moron already. And I'm coming back to the table, eyes to the ground. As I'm coming back, I didn't notice there was a man sat there eating a bowl of pasta with the back of his chair up, like we tell our kids not to do. I come stumbling through, thinking, don't get in a fight, don't cause any bother, you don't want them to hate you. I knock the back of this guy's chair, and I swear to God, his face goes flying forward into the bowl of pasta. The whole chair then goes flying back. He hits the back of his head on the floor. I'm standing there thinking, oh my God, I've blown it now, it's all going to kick off. And I swear to God, he looks up at me, face covered in pasta, and goes, sorry! I thought I could live here. And 15 years later, my dream came true. Here I am. But I'm still surprised now. I still get surprised now. Only a couple of weeks ago, I was in Sobeys, lovely Sobeys, with my youngest son, River. He's 2 years old. Well, I say he's 2. He's actually 3, but he's not talking yet, so we tell people he's 2. Say he's answering awkward questions. We're just going to keep this up till he's 20. Yeah, he's 2. So I'm in Sobeys with Riv. We're doing the weekly shop. I make sure I got all the right things. I get home thinking I've done a good job. I got compliments when I was told to get compliments. I got own brand when I did all the right things. I got home, my wife, walking the door, my wife's standing there, and she goes, where's River's hat? Now, being a man, I said, what hat? I had no idea he was wearing a hat. What hat? She goes, well, he was wearing a sun hat. It was that sunny day we had a few weeks ago. What do you call it? Summer. That was it. Turns out River was wearing a hat, and she said to me, she said, well, go back to Sobeys customer service and ask if they've got it in the lost and found. I said, lost and found? Are you sure? Because we don't have a thing called lost and found in England. That doesn't exist. In England we have a whole different system called lost and, oh, I love that. It's a system that works. It works brilliantly. How do you think I got this nice jacket? Someone left it lying around on a rack in H&M. So I thought she was winding me up. I thought it was a joke. I thought she was sending me, because she does this to me. Because my wife knows, obviously, I'm not from here, and she's a local. She tells me things, rules here, that I don't know if they're true or not, just to mess with me. Like, she plays tricks on me. Like, maybe you can help me with this, because she told me this, and I have no idea if it's true or not. She told me that you're not allowed to walk up or down King Street between 10 and 4 on a weekday if you've got more than one tooth. I got to look, it looks like it's true. It certainly looks like that is the rule. but I have no idea if I'm allowed. So I thought she was winding me up. So I get to the Sobeys customer service. I went up apprehensive, and I said, I'm dreadfully sorry to trouble you. Do you ever think this might be a wind-up? But do you have a thing called Lost and Found? And she said, yes, we do. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I had no idea how friendly it was here. And still, there's more. She said, what have you lost? Because I have lots of different boxes for all the different lost items, right? And she can see the scepticism in my face. And she said, look, I'll show you. So she went down to get the first box out. Now, I swear to you, this is absolutely true. It's worth taking a trip to Sobeys just to have a look. Take the family. She pulls out the first tray. It's like a grey office tray with a big label on it, right? And I swear this is true. Go and check. It says on it, lost belts. And there's about 15 belts in this tray. I'm staring at this box, just thinking, who on earth goes into Sobeys, goes to the bathroom, sits down and goes, oh, I think I'm going to need to take my belt off for this. And then leaves their belt. So I'm staring at this thing, I'm transfixed. And then she's speaking to me and she said, what is it? And I said, oh, it's my youngest son's sun hat, he's 2, right? And she said, oh, that'll be under children's accessories. Friendly. She goes down to get that box, the children's accessories box, but there's a box in the way, another one of these big grey trays full of lost items. It's in the way of the children's. So she goes to get this box, and she's pulling it out, and she's weighed down, like she's physically weighed down. And I said, do you want a hand? And she goes, no, I'll be fine. She pulls it out, and honestly, like I say, I mean, this is the reason. If you're going to take the trip to Sobeys, that the belt is the opener, but this next one. This is the headline act, right? She pulls this tray out, and I swear it's absolutely true. Go and have a look. It says on it, lost car keys. Biggest pile of car keys I've ever seen in my life. Question. Who is walking out of Sobeys with 10 bags of shopping going, guess I'm walking. Have you ever gone into Sobeys parking lot and gone, I can't find a space? And then you go inside and it's completely empty? That's why! There's lots of words differences here as well. I mean, again, you don't get a rule book coming in. There's lots of words. Like, I mean, I'm sure you know, like, you say sneakers, I would say trainers. You say sweater, I'd say jumper. Nice jumper. You're welcome. Nice jumper. But the one that no one informed me, which I wish I'd known, is that these trousers, you call trousers pants, don't you? In England, pants are the underpants. I know. That made my first doctor's appointment pretty awkward. When I went to see my wife's family doctor for life, in my first week living here in St. John, with my injured knee, and he said, take off your pants, I'll be back in a minute. Left the room. Now I will admit, I did go ahead and take off my trousers, as we call them in a civilised land. And my pants, or as you would call them, underpants. Because I thought I was going to get a tappy-tappy, just the full checkup, the tappy-tappy. Anyway, now I'm banned from the only doctor in St. John. Still getting close. That was my first week here. You know, been 2.5 years now. You think I'd have cottoned on, but no. There's still weird things happening to me. There's no rule book, and it's kind of right. There's no rule book. I've come to this beautiful province. You've welcomed me kindly. It's my job to kind of, you know, integrate and figure this stuff out. But there's certain things I wish I'd known. Like 2 weeks ago, I was filming this thing, and the director of the show said to me, he said, "Oh, you got any plans on Sunday, James?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Do you want to go and watch midget hockey?" said, you what? He said, do you want to go and watch midget hockey? I said, yeah, I thought that's what you said. I said, I knew New Brunswick wasn't very politically correct. I said, well, I'll be honest with you, I was having trouble getting into hockey, so midget hockey, hell yes! Sign me up! Of course, a huge reason for wanting to come and live here was quality of life and wanting to spend more time with my children, which is a true joy, and it's an honour to do so. And last year was the first time I ever got to see my son's school Christmas play, school nativity play, and it was weird. Like in England, I always used to miss them because I was always on the road, and I always thought, oh, I wish I could see it. And now I've been to one. It's all been their children's Christmas play. Like it's a beautiful, heartwarming experience if you're a fan of terrible acting. Awful singing, awful. And you see these kids go up and they go and they slaughter these carols that we've loved our whole lives. These children go, oh, wait, and they go, no. And they come off and the mums are like, oh my God, you were amazing. And I'm thinking, you're bringing up a serial killer there. So I thought, I'm going to make a stand on this. My son, my eldest son, Hunter, he went up to do his performance, right? It was absolutely diabolical. And I thought, I'm going to make a point to him and to the other parents. So when Hunter came off stage, he came off, he looked quite proud, but he shouldn't have. He came off stage, and I said, Hunter, how many years has Daddy been in show business? He goes, 12 years, Dad. You're always banging on about it. You still got the stupid British accent. 12 years, Dad. You're always banging on about it. I said, correct. And how many times in 12 years have I picked my nose on stage? None. You, 3 times 1 song. It's important to make a stand, ladies and gentlemen. I've had a lot of good news since moving here, just generally life improving. We're definitely happy. I'm not depressed anymore, which is lovely. I mean, well, at least I won't be until all the Brits and the Americans move in, but until then, I'm just going to enjoy it. But I had the greatest piece of news that I've pretty much ever had in my life. About 6-7 months ago now, I received a letter in the post, ladies and gentlemen, that contained a permanent residency card for Canada, which means I can in this beautiful province forever. Truly a dream come true. I got this, I was ever so proud, I was showing off. I've got a permanent resident card and my wife likes to cut me down. She pulled it out of my hand and she was like, oh, that's great news, James. Shame there's a bloody expiry date on it. But the thing that most people said to me was they kept saying, oh, that's great, that means in 3 or 4 years you can apply and get a Canadian passport. So I said, well, that's wonderful, that would be, amazing, convenient. But I said, my dream since I first visited here all those years ago, when I went to the wrong place and then I knocked the guy off his chair, and I did all of those things, right? My dream back then was I thought, I want to be one day considered a maritimer. That's my dream. Being a Canadian is one thing, but I want to be considered a maritimer. I want you to see me walking down the street and not say, there's that British comedian. I want you to say, there's James, the maritimer, right? And you earn the right to be a maritimer. It's not like Newfoundland, where it's so easy. Like, you turn up, they're so desperate for you. You turn up and they go, fiddly-dee, have a shot of screech, kiss a god, you're in, right? You earn the right to be a maritimer. Like, Newfoundland's a bit like buying a dog. Like, you get the dog home, it looks at you instantly and it says, I love you, master, right? And that's it. Whereas maritime is more like a cat. You get the cat home, it loves you, but it looks at you as if to say, feed me for 4 years, then I might sit on your lap. You earn the right to be a maritimer, and I'm going to do everything I can within my power to earn that right. I want you to think of me as one of you. I'm going to do it all, ladies and gents. I'll be honest with you, I want to make homemade wine. But not just that, I want to make homemade wine out of a blue plastic barrel that I stole before the pulp mill shut down. I want to drive a 4-wheeler on a highway. The wrong way. I want to know how my truck handles on hiking trails. I want to wear head-to-toe camouflage just to go to Tim Hortons. I want to grow fiddleheads and sell them at the end of my driveway. I I want to think it's perfectly acceptable to pick up women at the Irving Big Star. I want my cure for the common cold to be to drink a quart of rum and sleep in a ditch. I want to buy everything I need from Kijiji. I want to make jokes about newfies. As an Englishman living in St. John, I want to finally live in a place I can feel proud of my teeth. I want to sneak into Costco using my Blockbuster card. I want to have my family reunions in the parking lot of where Zeller's used to be. I don't want to buy my fish from Sobeys, I want to buy it at the back of a pickup truck in Sussex. My name's James Mullinger and I am a maritimer. Thank you very much indeed. It's been an absolute joy. I love you and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Good night.